All right, ladies and gentlemen, what you're about to hear is a true story about a time that I was playing golf. Now, this was not that long ago. I won't disclose exactly how long ago it was, but let me just say it was pretty recent. As you can tell by my golf hat, I do quite enjoy golf. Not claiming to be good at it, but I enjoy it as a hobby and a pastime. But yeah, I want to tell you about this time I was playing golf. It was after work. It was during the summer, so the nice long warm evenings. And I was just playing golf. I didn't have all my other mate was still at work. I was lucky to have knocked off early. And I was playing golf, and I was like, oh, I'll just go and play by myself, just work on my game. And, it's quite zen and peaceful when you play by yourself. But yeah, I went to the golf course, and it turns out it was really busy for some reason. It was a Friday night, I guess. So, I mean, a lot of dudes go and play golf. But I had to get matched up with like a couple of random people, just so there wasn't as many single groups on the golf course at once. So I was me and these two other dudes. And these two other dudes are the main focus of the story that I'm about to tell. Their names were Dookie and Jarb. That was the names of these two dudes, which I thought was quite peculiar. It may have been a nickname, but they did look like a Dookie and Jarb. Dookie was like really skinny, and he would wear like oversized clothing sort of thing, one of those dudes. I'd say they're both like in their mid to late 20s. Like they're young dudes, look respectfully not the most attractive chaps. And then Jarb, he was like a really chunky sort of, he's a really solid bloke. So look, no disrespect to Dookie and Jarb. It was a very memorable hit. I'll give them that hit of golf that I had with them. So yeah, I was like, all right, Dookie, Jarb, good to meet you boys. Yeah. They actually told me that they're having a bit of an annual competition that they have between each other, like a little competition, a little tournament that they hold. It was their grandfather's golf balls. Their grandfather is the one who got them both into golf, and they're using their grandfather's golf balls. They both got given golf balls, so they're the same age. I think they're cousins. And they got given these golf balls on their birthdays of the same year when they were like 10 or something by their grandfather. That was when they started playing golf. They had these balls that were super valuable. And they say once a year, they come out and use these two golf balls and have a competition and just, have a bit of fun as you do. My mates have a little golf competition that we have between us as well. So not an uncommon thing. I was like, oh, sick, I get to witness this. And real good. One thing that becomes apparent about these golf balls is that they do not want to lose them, and they take their competition extremely seriously. So that definitely comes into effect as the round goes on. So first hole, nothing's unusual. We all just play through, and I can't even remember what the scores were, but nothing out of the ordinary happened. Then it comes to the second hole, and it's a par 4 for those of you who know golf a little bit. And there's like water on the right. So I went first, and then Dookie went. Jarb hits a ball, and Jarb, he kind of slices it into the water a little bit. And I was kind of surprised that they were even hitting like their actual grandfather's balls, because I was like, if you guys lose that in the water, you're cooked, you're going to lose that ball. And he did. He hit his ball into the water, and I was like, whoa, this is like a historic golf ball from your grandpa, and you just shot it in the water. And he's like, yeah, dang it. So we went down as we were walking past the water. I was like, I suppose you just drop in here. Dookie he reaches into his golf cart, grabs out some goggles, swimming goggles, puts them in, rips his shirt off, and dives into the water. And I was like, there's no way, there's probably hundreds of golf balls in there. He comes out and he's down there for about, I think it was like 15 seconds. Like he was underwater and fully submerged for probably 10. Like you couldn't see him at all. I was like, gee, Dookie, all right? He comes up and he's got the golf ball. He's like he just took his shirt off, so he's going to be soaked for the rest of the golf round. Don't ask me why Dookie did this. But he's got his grandfather's golf ball, and he puts it on the grass and play on with the ball. And I was like, man, that was really something. I'd never seen that on a golf course before. So huge respect to Dookie. I think because of that, he had to lose a shot, and then he was losing by one shot to Jarb. And so I was like, man, that was weird. I'm going to tell my mates about that. That was very peculiar. And little did I know, that was just the start of it. It comes around to the fourth hole, so nothing happened on the third. Then, as if you don't know, you play 9 holes often if you don't have much time. Normally, you're supposed to play 18. We were just playing 9. Comes around to the fourth hole, and Jarb, so Jarb's the chunkier fella, respectfully, and where it's like a coastal kind of golf course. I should have mentioned this. It's a coastal golf course, so it's beautiful. There's you can kind of see the beach from a few of the spots on the course. But there's a lot of seagulls kind of flying around the area, as obviously because it's coastal. And there was this one hole, it was the fourth, where there's heaps of seagulls, all kind of like basically right in front of where we're hitting. Now, if you hit a good shot, it'll go over the seagulls, and I suppose they're just used to it. Like, they just see nice wide open space, and like, hey, there's land here, and what are the chances you can hit one, right? Myself and Jarb both played our shots. Sorry, myself and Dookie both played our shots. Jarb comes up and winds up, hits it as hard as he can, which is, there's a lot of stuff, loose flesh flying around when Jarb has a real swing at it. He kind of tops the ball, which if you don't know golf, that means you've hit it on the bottom part of the club and it's going to stay really low. As he's hit the ball, so it's come out really fast but really low off his golf club. As he's done that, a seagull has gone, it has squawked, and the ball has gone straight into the mouth of this seagull squawking, and it's like lodged in its throat. You can see this seagull. I can't believe this. You can see the seagull has this big circle in its neck of a golf ball that it has like swallowed while it's squawked. Dookie, Jarb and me were like, what? We've never seen anything like. I've seen my mate once hit a duck. We were playing at a course that had a lot of ducks. He accidentally hit a duck and it was not a great thing. And the duck was fine. I mean, it was a bit slower than the rest, but this seagull has like inhaled this golf ball. And so I was like, that was your grandpa's ball and it's now in that seagull. What are you going to do, Chief? Obviously, like thinking like, well, there goes your ball. So bad luck, mate. You can't have that ball back. It's in a seagull. He walks up to this seagull, and this seagull is like, he's not looking good. He's kind of like, he's upright. He's walking around, but he's very like wobbling. Like he kind of like, whoa. And he's got this massive bulge in his neck. I'm like, dude, what are you going to do? And Jarb comes up to it, and he looks at Dookie, and he's like, what do we do? And Dookie's like, mate, we can't lose these balls. So the bird, we kind of wait another couple of seconds, and the bird just falls over. Like, it's conscious and it's fine, but it's fallen over. And and Charles looked at us and he was like, I don't want to do this, but I actually have to. He gets out a 3-wood, which is like a really solid piece of metal on the end of your golf club, and the bird is on the ground, and he just, aiming for the ball in the neck, cracked it. Feathers, massive pile of feathers fly up everywhere. Bird obviously died. It was a quick death, nice quick death. Probably the most humane result possible is what happened. And the ball actually burst out of inside, like all flesh feathers of the bird go everywhere. And the ball comes out and rolls probably 100 metres down the fairway of the golf course. And so I could not believe this. Jarb was like, he actually played it off like it was nothing. I couldn't believe it. These dudes they're built diff. I've never seen anything like this. And I was like, I cannot wait to tell all my mates about this golf story that I've just witnessed. This is unbelievable. This is only on the 4th hole, by the way. And so my score kind of went downhill because I was just in shock of what had happened. And it gets worse. It actually gets worse. Listen to this. So on the 7th hole, so that was the 4th, 5th and 6th, nothing really happened, just normal golf. Good fun. And then it comes to the 7th hole, and Jarb hits a beautiful shot onto the green. It's a par 4 again. He's on the green. So he's up on the green. And Dookie, he kind of misses his shot. He doesn't quite get onto the green. So he's off the edge of the green, and then Jarb's up there kind of looking at his putt, lining it up. Now, Jarb is a large fella. And look, when you're a large fella, sometimes your pants it's a bit of a struggle for them to stay up. So Jarb's pants do sometimes sag below the waistline. And in this occasion, as he was sitting there lining up his putt, his pants had fallen, and you could see, look, it wasn't a full moon, but there was definitely a waning crescent kind of hanging around. Bit of a coin slot, if you know what I'm saying. And as he's lining up his putt with the coin slot presented out the back, and Dookie is off the green over there, practicing his chip. Dookie, and you kind of wouldn't expect what's about to happen because he's way off to the side of the flag's way over in this way. Jarb is just here and Dookie's here, so he's not really aiming for him. But what ends up happening is as Dookie swings, he actually does what's known as a shank, where the ball hits like the stick of the golf club, the actual shank of it, and it normally comes way out to the right when you hit it. So Dookie shanks it, and instead of going left towards the hole, it goes right and straight into the coin slot of Jarb, who is unsuspected victim, the poor chap. So what ends up happening is, as it enters, he goes, ooh, and then he kind of almost falls over, and as he falls, he kind of falls and rolls to the side because of the surprise of something entering him. And the ball, as he falls, the force of him falling knocks the ball out of the coin slot, and it rolls, and I'm standing there just in shock as the ball rolls into the hole. This is the greatest golf shot I've ever seen in my life. And I wouldn't know what to think. I just stood there and I was shocked. Dookie and Jarb ended up actually getting into a massive argument. Jarb was like, well, that was player interference. And Dookie's like, well, you're on the course and my ball went in the hole. What are you going to do? Huge. They were not happy with each other after this occurrence. Big argument breaks out. And Jarb ended up not winning that argument. Dookie won. So they were actually tied on the 7th hole after that occurrence, which is the most unbelievable thing that I've ever witnessed on a golf course, maybe ever. That was the 7th hole. Coming into the 8th, not a lot happens. And then on the 9th hole, can you believe that there's more to this story? On the 9th hole, Doogie and Jarb, they're tied. Their scores are exactly the same. So they're like, right, they were really serious about this. I can't believe how serious they were considering the multiple things that had happened previously. But they played, it's a par 5 this last hole. So they played both of their two first shots, the drives, tee shots off the tee box, and their balls ended up, this is another thing, I cannot believe that this happened. Their balls ended up right next to each other on the fairway. They've got the whole golf fairway, and their balls ended up right next to each other. Now, a bit of a technical rule in golf is that the player who's furthest away from the hole, they will play first. So everyone sort of walks up, and whoever's furthest away from the hole, they'll play, and then that's how the order of the golf shots goes. But since their balls are right next to each other by some miracle, they don't know who to play first. And I'm like, well, boys, surely just sort of move one out to the side and then one play and then put it back and the other one go. And they're like, nah, this is official. This is our grandfather's golf tournament. We need to be official. We've got these special balls. So what ends up happening, and another fact I didn't mention, is that Jarb is right-handed and Dookie is actually left-handed. So if you're right-handed, when you swing, you stand like this, and you swing and hitting it that way. And if you're left-handed, you stand like this, and you swing and you hit it that way. So they have these opposite stance because they're left and right-handed. And so they come to the conclusion that they both need to hit at the same time. Both of their balls are this far apart. And they were like, well, let's just both hit them, because that's what as far as they can interpret the rules, that's the most fair thing to do. And they're still long, it's par 5, which is the longest type of hole, so they're a long way away from the hole. They ended up with these big, 3-wood hybrid thing, I don't even know what they were. And as they swung, so the one lined up here, his ball's right there, the other one is lined up here, and his ball's right next to each other, and they've gone 3, 2, 1, and as they've swung, they've both, I don't know how, they've both hit it, and they've both hit, I think Jarb's ball was a little better, Dookie's off to the side a bit, but both pretty good. But then in their backswing, when you hit a golf, when you hit it, it comes up, and then you'll follow through, and the club ends up pointing way out here somewhere. As they've both hit it, but then in their follow swing, they've both clonked each other, right in the temple with both of their golf clubs. They've both done the exact same thing and hit each other in the same spot right on the side of their head. And so obviously they were in heaps of pain. They're going to have massive bruises, these dudes. They both hit huge bruise on the side of their head, and they both go to the ground and they're sore and they can't, they're in all sorts. They didn't see where the balls went. They're in so much pain. And they were in so much pain and discomfort that they couldn't finish the last hole. So they couldn't decide a winner. And I actually had to drive them both to the hospital. Like, they didn't even finish the hole. I drove them to the hospital straight away. Took them into A&E and they got patched up. I don't actually know what happened after that. I just dropped them off at the hospital. But on the way to the hospital, they were like, well, Lockie, you've won because we didn't finish. Both of us were DNFs, did not finishes. And they told me that I had won the golf day of their tournament. And they insisted that I return next year to play again in their grandfather's golf tournament, even though I wasn't even playing in it. But apparently I was the only one that finished their tournament, even though I wasn't in their tournament. Don't ask me how it works. But ladies and gentlemen, I have to play again next year with Dookie and Jarb in their grandfather's golf tournament with their grandfather's special balls that they can never lose. And I don't even know if either of them have still got their eyes left after they donked each other in the head. But if it's anything like this year's tournament, that tournament is going to be the greatest thing I've ever witnessed. Thank you for listening. Hope you're entertained. Peace.